In 2003, I had a simple dream. I wanted a cooler dorm room. I was a sophomore at Northwestern, and I was living in a dorm that the Huffington Post later called the #1 party dorm in America. So this was the type of place where they would chain the garbage cans to the wall to prevent them from being knocked over night after night after night. And I remember I would walk from room to room and see all of these posters, very uninspired, the same types of posters that everyone had in their dorm room, probably from allposters.com or some other site. And I wanted to do better. I wanted something that was a conversation piece, something that was cool and interesting and fun. And so I found this print on a British gallery website, and it was 60 pounds. And that, to me, was a complete fortune. I couldn't even imagine spending so much, but I did it. I said, screw it, I'm gonna do it. And I ordered it from the website, and it came, and I put it up in my dorm room, and my roommate lost it. She was like, that's weird looking, we can't have that in here, you're gonna scare away all the frat boys, you have to put that away. And so I took it down off the wall, and I rolled it back up and put it back in the tube, and I took it out again 4 years later, in 2007. And I found that this was not just any other print, that this was a signed and hand-numbered Banksy print. Yes, that Banksy. And, he was someone who was on the Time 100 in 2010, and he was someone who brought street art and graffiti art to mainstream America and has since become this international icon. And here I was staring at this poster that was in my dorm room, and it was his. And I didn't know any of this at the time. I mean, this was 2007. The only thing that I knew about art was that Angelina Jolie had just spent £1 million buying this guy's artwork. And so I thought that I had won the lottery. I was like, I am going to be so rich. I need to sell this immediately. And so I started thinking, and I hatched this plan, and I was like, I'm gonna sell this artwork, and then I'm gonna retire, and it's gonna be so amazing. And in fact, what ended up happening was I spent the next 5 years trying to sell this artwork. And as Banksy became more and more and more famous, I just encountered more and more frustration around how to sell art and how to get this thing away, and I just couldn't figure it out. And I realized that it was because I was just doing it wrong. I made it my Twitter avatar because I thought maybe someone would ask me about it. I would email galleries, I would go up to people, and I was met with this mix of kind of disinterest and condescension. And the thing it reminded me of was the shop scene in Pretty Woman when she goes in and she's like ready to spend, and she wants these new clothes, she has this credit card with no limit on it, and the women just look at her and it's so deadpan, and they're like, you obviously don't belong here. And that was how I felt trying to sell this piece of art, where I was having all of these really awkward conversations, and they say, you're obviously in the wrong place, and that was how I felt, that I was always obviously in the wrong place. And I thought that I was totally alone in this. And then this article came out in the New York Times last year, Does Anyone Here Speak Art and Tech? And it was about how tech people just fumble in the art world. And, there was a quote that said something like, indeed, for a certain type of hoodie-wearing entrepreneur who prefers going to Tahoe over the Tate, the rules of the art world can seem especially opaque. And that was what I realized, was that I was going at this with a technology mindset, that I thought, go into the art world, and in technology, we love transparency and meritocracy and openness. And in art, there was this mix of status and connections, and I didn't have any of those. And so as a result, I tried and tried and tried, and I just couldn't do it. And so finally last year, I gave up. And I realized, seeing this image everywhere, that it actually, in my attempt to sell it, it had become part of who I was. And, starting companies, you realize it is like hugging a bomb, right? Because you think everything's gonna explode any day. And so I decided not to sell it. I said, you know what, I'm gonna keep this, and I'm gonna keep this around, and just think of it as a piece of dumb luck that I happened to fall into. And so finally, I got my social vindication like 2 months ago when one of my college friends said, this girl, I remember, she had a Banksy hanging in her dorm room. And I think there's no greater compliment you can give to a technology person than to tell them that they're ahead of the curve. And so finally, I embraced it, I got it framed, I put it up in the apartment, and I keep it around as a reminder that all of us should celebrate our moments of pure dumb luck. Thank you.